All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Friday, July 19th, 2024. If you've done this already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So, our market's in danger here. Could we have a volatility event around the corner? It's definitely in the short. The short answer is yes, but there's a few things to unpack here. So we're definitely in a period here where we can see some additional weakness. Right now, we have sellers the last 3 days. They've been in complete control. So in the short term, you've got bears selling essentially every rip here. And really no bounces allowed, right? No bounces here. And we haven't gotten, we did get the defense of 5,500, which was expected today. I mean, I don't think anybody would have expected a break of that here on an Opex especially. But you didn't really get, you didn't get that save, right? So if we look at the volume here, by the way, the volume, we'll talk about that in a second. We will get a big surge in the last minute. Don't make a ton out of the daily volume because there's always, every Opex, there's always a big surge at the last minute. But during the day, not very heavy. But either way, when you look for a bottom here, you want to see, first of all, this angle is not steep enough. You want to see it like that with a little bit of a volume surge, on that reversal bar. Didn't really see it. Weak bounce so far. Now, are we going to crash? So, I mean, I hate using that word, but, there's definitely, we're in a period here where we could see heightened risk, especially if we break below 54.75. Again, now that doesn't mean we wick below it, for one day and close at 54.70. That the next day we're going to gap down 200 point. I'm not saying that's how it's going to happen, but that would be an area here where if that's hit, you want to see that reclaimed and defended. So we're getting close. We haven't done technical damage yet, but we're getting there. And again, there's room, we could pierce it and then, pop right back up, right? There's nothing to say that can't happen. But, if the bears can hold that down and hold us below there, they can kind of shift the flows here and the momentum in the near term. Until then, it's just a pullback. That said, why did I even use the word crash? The vol market is acting as if like there's an Armageddon coming. If you look at the VIX here today, and this is funny too, that fake print, I guess everybody got this ghost print down to 10, which would be even funnier if that played out, considering what's just happened. But I'll tell you why that could play out. I don't think it'd go that low, but looking at intraday here, just huge bid all day long. Did back off in the afternoon as we got to 55. And you can see VIXY and the VIX futures. So actual buyers coming in. It's not just the calculation running it up. It's actual buyers coming in. You have right now, right, geopolitical stuff. Trump getting shot last weekend. Biden now, there's real rumblings that he's looking to drop out according to like his close family. And then you have this cyber attack crap that happened this morning. Which, by the way, CrowdStrike was a really good dip buy there into that 200 moving average if you got that. But either way, that's kind of this. So you get this market that is just like not wanting to hold into the weekend, and I think the market really wants to be hedged here. Now that said, why could this really backfire? If nothing happens over the weekend, we could easily see a gap and go and like 100-point rally. So that's kind of the other side of it here. Or if something does happen, the market's really positioned now for, a big thing to happen. I think you get down into that 50 MA on the Qs, if we gap down on fear, maybe below it, you got a 382 in that area. And, below that, you got 458. So there's some pretty big, with the 50% and then this area, we're already down, 30, 40 handles on the Qs off the highs. So realized downside is already, kind of taken place. So there is that potential. And another thing too, speaking of realized, right now there's like a high amount of implied volatility, right? A lot of puts being bought, a lot of protection being bought. But looking at, SPX here, it's not like, especially today, like we're down a lot less than we were yesterday. And, just a few minutes ago, we were basically at the same point that we were at 3 o'clock yesterday before that little short covering, like into the close rally. So it's like a lot of selling, not a lot of reward, right? So and it's very controlled too. We're just kind of controlling off this 10-minute, 20 moving average, kind of riding that down. It's not like real panic where you got like this and then a big squeeze and then a bit, it's just really tight algo driven. So if they can't break those levels, if they can't break 5K, they can't break 54.75, you could see a huge squeeze up if nothing bad happens. So that's the other side of it here. But there is, to answer the question, there is definitely risk now. So it definitely needs to be respected. Now, one other thing or a couple other things, the volume, this is, again, it's not distribution. It's not. So SPY's not showing me that right now. Could that change? I don't know. Could be wrong. Yeah, it's possible. But usually this is a very good thing to look for. I've been using it for 15 years. So usually if you want to top, I got to see 100 million. Additionally, right, market closing in a few minutes here. Like, come on, like everybody knows, right? This is a pin, right? 5,500. You can see 450 on spot. Look at where we are. Is it a magical coincidence that we just happen to be right on that level for Opex, like where the market closes in 3 minutes? It's not, right? So you could very easily make the case that this is just an unwind right into that level that burns out the most premium, and then as soon as that GEX expires at 4 p.m. today, there's no reason to hold the market in this position anymore. So that's the other side of it. But yes, definitely bears are making progress. Again, I talked about this last time. I said they need to do damage here and here too. Like this was way too little, way too late down here. We were buying the hell out of this dip. I bought the hell out of this consolidation pattern because why they took too long. Now you're in the point where you've got a good head. You haven't done technical damage yet, but you've got a good head start here. So even if we bounce, you now have room for a lower high. So bears have a good window here to make a move. I still think the market, especially if you get a gap down, I think we'll get probably some type of V shape, but there will be room for a lower high. The bull case here is that nothing happens. Those hedges get smoked and put sellers just essentially have a feast. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We also have some earnings coming out too. Could be some hedges going on just in that regard as well. I believe Tesla and Google, I think Visa as well, kick off the earnings season. But that's the state of the market right now. Again, 55 still a important level. They might try to flush it here in the last couple seconds. It's not of much consequence, but 75 area, that's kind of the first real area where we could start seeing kind of like technical damage. I mean, there's still bounce levels down here. Again, don't think that if we break that, the market's just going to crash to 5,000. It's not. But interesting dynamics here, definitely interesting. And bears in control in the near term until a support, a resistance gets reclaimed. I'd say 55.50. So short term, if you can get back above 25, we can relief rally to 50, and then back above 50 with like on say an hourly close or so. We can continue to rally again. Additionally, I've been showing you this too. This will eventually play out. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. But NQ just being run into the ground here, with a pretty good divergence there on the 4-hour and hourly. So again, it doesn't guarantee it has to play out right now. It can go farther than you think, but the setup will be there when it wants it. So a couple of dynamics, a couple of things to watch there. But yeah, definitely an important time here and a pivotal time. So bulls can regain control here very easily. But if they don't, the bears have a window to do some damage going into the next month or so. So again, triple Qs here. So we are slicing this trend line here again. I guess that's technically the fourth hit. So yeah, fair enough. So that's 4 hits. But you got the 50 MA here. That is major. Why? Because it's coming from an extended place. The 20 MA was not major because it was parallel. So keep that in mind. Another thing too, if the market was going to really crash over the weekend, do you think the Russell would only be down 62 basis points? I think it'd be down a lot more because this is the most risky of the indexes. Still got some support around 212 if it wants it. Dow here, again, down a little bit today, again, with everything else, down just under 1%. Support at 400 and then the 20 MA there. Market's closing in a few seconds here. SMH, so lost that 50 MA. We got a one-day bounce off of it. We did lose that. Next big level, you know, I mean, you got 240 right here, previous all-time high, 100-day moving average, and then another fib here with the 50%, and then the 618 below that. So there are levels here. You know, if we go straight into them, that increases the likelihood of a bounce. But again, you guys know I still think lower highs are going to come into play in chips. Let's just see what we did here. Yeah, something didn't flush it in the close. Where did we close though? Yeah, 55.05. So again, it's not a coincidence that we got right to that whole round number. And then they didn't want to pay out the massive put premium. Right. See all that? That's all puts. So that's, you got to take these Opex moves with a grain of salt. So IGV down 18 cents. Nothing terrible though. Just really sideways all day. And that's still okay. So it is a pullback, a little good outside move this week, but relatively speaking, it's actually holding up pretty well compared to a lot of other things. But hanging in there. Dow Transport's down just 2 cents. Again, if the market was going to crash, I think the transports would be in worse shape. But they, you know, not a bad candle after two pullback days. Tail candle there on the daily. All right, interest rates here. 2-year yield inching up. Again, I think bonds would be bid, right? If there's something major happening, unless something happens that causes yields to go up, I don't know. 5-year here, holding the 4.05 area. Big level there, old level, but it's a good one. And then 10-year still, you know, notice how the 10-year, the long end is just, you know, it's getting that steepener kind of look where this wants to go up, and the 30-year with the higher low. I think, you know, all this cut talk, I don't know what the Fed's going to do. That's for the macro bros to figure out, but you know, I can theorize about it, but I think if they cut, I think the long end is going to go ballistic. I think people are underestimating what's going to happen with the long end. But right now, it's neither here nor there. And yields are holding up at the moment. 2-year is starting to price in cuts, though, obviously. XHP down 45 cents. Still inside of that big breakup bar. So big outside tail candle yesterday, but it's still inside of this green. So it could just, you know, the 20 MA here, this chart's still good. Like the 20 MA can just catch up to price, and it can just keep going. Home builder's still pretty strong. VNQ down 16 cents, but nothing terrible there. Nothing terrible at all. XLF down 42. That probably wants to head back to the 20 moving average. I just lost my other screen there. KRE up 28 cents. Again, you know, so like big crash here, and the regional banks are up 28 cents. I don't know. We'll see. Again, I'm not, yeah, there is risk here, but yeah, definitely interesting to see these sectors green out of everything else. Broker-dealer is flat. What is interesting too is oil is down 3%. So there definitely is some weirdness too. So, I mean, that definitely makes me think there could be something going on. Oil down 3%. That's a big move, right? Outside move, wiped out that big, you know, surge. And again, we talked about the green bar low getting closed below, then it reversed it the next day, and that's why you don't want to trust those. But again, I've been neutral on it. I've just been saying there's a possibility, if it can stay firm, that it can change the trend on all these time frames. It hasn't done that. But yeah, I'm just neutral on it. Let's just see short term. I probably wouldn't even touch it till like that 618, so probably like 75 and change. And that's if I'd even consider it. But XLE here was up earlier. That was working on 8 in a row. So street got snapped at 7. Strong sector, right? Green the last 2 days, red today, but in a tape that was pounded the last couple of days. So XLE still pretty strong. XOP backing off, but a tail candle on the daily, nothing terrible. And same thing with, excuse me, OIH, little spinning top doji. I think OIH is going to go a lot higher in due time. CCJ holding on, up 18 cents, holding the 200 moving average. And let's see if URNM lost. So I would be careful with this equity. And that's the first time I've said that in a while. So we've officially negated that green power bar on a weekly close. So you still got the monthly, which is a little bit lower. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that to the end of the month. But be careful with these uranium miners here. Looks like NJ held on by the skin of its teeth. literally held on, I think, what is this, 22.92? Yep. So watch those into the end of the month there. Nat gas had 2 consecutive up days, which is basically, we got to call the market police for that. So, but yeah, I got a bid here. It built off of the strength from yesterday with that little bull pattern. Let's see if it goes up and tests 220. Again, if you can get back above this, you could squeeze up to maybe 240. And then if it really gets strength, you know, 250. But it's definitely been weak lately. Probably doesn't do anything until the U contract rolls. All right, dollar index here, green on the day, up 20 basis points. Weekly chart defended yet again. So over and over and over, that keeps getting defended. Dollar is still fine, no problems here. It's in a range. This was the other part of the weirdness. Gold down 2 1/4. Again, if there was instability or like chaos going on, why? I mean, I think gold would be up. There was, oh, by the way, there was a margin requirement increase from the CME. That's definitely interesting to have them do that in the month of July. It's a little different. Maybe that's what's going on. I know investors are expecting some, you know, Biden and Trump and CrowdStrike and all this stuff. But gold weekly failed breakout. That doesn't mean it's going to go down or anything or crash, but I do think this will be a dip buy in the not too distant future. Same thing with silver, but lower high for now. Platinum here, still holding onto the trend line, sliced it pretty good though. So we'll see what that does there. And then palladium continuing to come down. We'll see, maybe that wants triple bottom. Copper down 1% here. Again, I've avoided it. What was the next level? I think 415. Did I tell you? Why do I always forget these copper levels every single day? I do them every day. Yeah, so like 415, 420. It's 50% fib. That was where he broke out from, so that's probably around there. And then the 200 MA after that. So what was strong today? Really the only thing outside of the regional banks was Bitcoin. The thing that I sold way too early, even though I picked the exact low. Hey, good move for Bitcoin. And now the talk is, oh, well, it's a risk off move because, well, how come like every other time there's risk off, it doesn't rally? I think it was just going to go up anyway. You had a nice bull pattern here, pop above resistance, right? 1, 2, 3 pullback and a bid. Don't overcomplicate it. So we got a trend line right here that we're getting close to. Maybe, yeah, right there. Then we have the previous all-time high, and they kind of coincide with one another. There we go. They kind of coincide with one another, right around 69, 69.70. What was I going to say? Oh, the weekly. So yeah, that white line right there, that's the weekly red bar. The yellow line is the daily. If we're above this, which we probably will be by now, that white line, that's a weekly negation of that big, you know, breakdown. So that would be bullish, obviously. I still think the monthly needs to do more consolidation though, but very good move for Bitcoin. And hopefully some of you guys held it and made some money. I know some of my members did, even though I dumped it before the weekend. But either way, again, markets here closing at right just above 55. Again, Opex, a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, even with the increased volume for Opex, just 58 million shares. That's including after hours. So not heavy distribution volume. I know you'll look at the futures and say, well, the futures were higher, but the rule is it's got to be on SPY because futures are short-term positions. And yeah, a lot of dynamics going on here. Could be either or. Take it with a grain of salt. Just know that the market's really hedged. Like, or there's a lot of hedges going on. So if everybody expects something, it's kind of hard for that to play out. That said, that doesn't mean we can't have something play out, do damage, put in a lower high, and then bears go on offense again after that. So definitely a window here for bears. First time I've said that in a long time outside of just minor little periods right here. There's an actual, this is the first time in a long time we have an actual window. So this is the first time I'm bearish since April, essentially. And I'm not necessarily, I wouldn't say I'm bearish, I'm neutral. But I'd say the bears have a real window here. If it closes, it closes. But right now, we'll see what we get going into next week. We got earnings, PCE, and then the Fed the week after that. So that should be fun. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me at carnivoretrades.com. I will see you guys all next week.